I'm out here at the pond today. Everything's growing in nicely. We brought in some of those small lily pads close to the waterfall recently, and they multiplied like crazy. They get cool little yellow flowers. Not the larger lily pads with the lotus blossoms. If you're in a cold area, you want the lotus blossoms that sit on the water. But really, I wanted to talk about duckweed. And duckweed, we brought in a bunch of duckweed, and it's really great because the fish like to eat it, but it also will keep some light out of your pond and out of the water, and that will prevent too much algae growing. Feed the fish a little bit here. You get too much algae, it can deplete the water of oxygen and other things. So, and look how clear that water is also. A lot of that is because of the duckweed and the lily pads keeping the sun out of the water and keeping that algae down. The other thing you got to look out for is where you harvest the duckweed. You don't want to be downstream from animals. You can get nematodes and things like that. It doesn't really matter in this pond where we're not going to eat the fish, but let's say you had it in maybe an aquaponics system with aquaculture, or maybe you were feeding it to tilapia that you were going to then consume. I would kind of wonder about nematodes and how I harvested the duckweed. But it's great for the water of the pond. It's great as food for the fish. And I'll show you a couple other places that we have some duckweed. Feeding the fish in the aquaponics here. You can see we got some duckweed. Same reasons. Helps block the sun for the algae and the supplemental food for the goldfish. But one thing that's neat about duckweed, if it is in good light, like direct sunlight, it can double its mass in about one day. So depending on how much your fish are eating, you might be able to have a food source that you don't have to replenish for your fish, which is neat in an aquaponic system like this, because we have this closed system where the fish feed the plants and the plants filter the water. So that's sort of a closed system. It'd be neat if you also didn't even have to feed your fish. Then it'd be a totally self-sufficient system. But at any rate, there's some more of our duckweed. I got one more place where we have duckweed, and I'll show you that now. Alright, we've got a little bit of duckweed in this pond. It goes to where the water is still. It likes really still water. And there's two types of duckweed. One's good for food for humans, the other isn't. You can also dry it and feed it to your animals. So this can be just another food source. And the fish really ate it up in this pond, so I put some in buckets in the greenhouse. So I'll be growing the duckweed there. It can, like I was saying before, double its mass in one day. So the other interesting fact about duckweed, it has the smallest blossom of any plant. So there you go. A little bit about duckweed and several different uses that we're using it for. Might want to add some if you've got a water feature or a pond and see how it works for you.